Connection of the facial vein with the cavernous sinus. It is important. It communicates with the two regions. It is the medial angle of the eye and the Dranger's area of the face. At the medial angle of the eye, there are two veins, supratrochlear and the supraorbital veins unite to form the angular vein. This angular vein is connected with the superior ophthalmic vein with the cavernous sinus. And these channels are valveless, means the infection blood can flow in both directions and the infection can spread from this region to the cavernous sinus. As a result of which is the thrombosis in the cavernous sinus. Now the second region, it is the Dranger's area, that is the region of the upper lip and the area of the nose, that is known as the Dranger's area of the face. And why? Because this facial vein is connected with the pterygoid venous plexus by a vein that is known as the deep facial vein. Deep facial vein. This deep facial vein connects the facial vein with the pterygoid venous plexus, and we have previously discussed this pterygoid venous plexus is connected with the cavernous sinus by the emissary veins. So infection can spread from this to the pterygoid to the emissary vein, ultimately to the cavernous sinus. And this region is frequently movement region, so there is chances of spread of the sepsis from the face to the cavernous sinus, and that is why it is the Dranger's area of the face. Next, this cavernous sinus also connected with the superior sagittal sinus. Through it is the superficial middle cerebral vein. Superficial middle cerebral veins connects this cavernous sinus with the superior sagittal sinus, and this superior sagittal sinus is the important sinus which maximum part of the CSF ultimately drains. So, in brief, this cavernous sinus is communicated with this transverse sinus through the superior pectoral sinus. This cavernous sinus is communicated with the internal jugular vein through the inferior pectoral sinus. This cavernous sinus is communicated with the pterygoid venous plexus through these emissary veins. And this cavernous sinus is connected with the facial vein through the superior ophthalmic vein and through this pterygoid venous plexus. This is the important communications of the cavernous sinus. Now, the applied aspect. Applied. The thrombosis in the cavernous sinus can occur. Thrombosis in the cavernous sinus can occur from the spread of the infection or sepsis from the following regions. From the face, that is the Dranger's area of the face, through its communication. It can spread through the nasal cavity. From the paranasal air sinuses. Paranasal air sinuses, and of course it is from the scalp. These are the regions from which the infection can be transported to the cavernous sinus, which results the thrombosis in the cavernous sinus because of its communication through the emissary veins. Emissary veins. Now, what is the effect of the thrombosis of the cavernous sinus? This cavernous sinus, we have seen already, chiefly related with the orbit, eyeball. So, first of all, the features, symptoms of the thrombosis, it is the severe pain. Severe pain in the forehead region. Forehead region, severe pain in the eyeball and around the orbit. Severe pain. Why? This is due to the involvement of the ophthalmic nerve. Ophthalmic nerve. This ophthalmic nerve passes to the lateral wall of the cavernous sinus. As a result of which there is a severe pain referred in this region. Now, it is the proptosis, also known as the exophthalmos. This is the protrusion of the eyeball. And why this occurs in the thrombosis of the cavernous sinus? Due to the involvement of these veins, that is the superior ophthalmic, inferior ophthalmic, and occasionally the central vein of the retina. This is due to this venous congestion. Venous congestion. It leads to the proptosis or the exophthalmos. Now, next, due to the involvement of the third, fourth, and the sixth cranial nerve that passes through the lateral wall and to the cavernous sinus, these cranial nerves are involved, third, fourth, and the sixth, and its paralysis results in the ophthalmoplasia. Ophthalmoplasia. So, this is the effect of the thrombosis of the cavernous sinus. Now, another applied aspect that is known as the pulsating. Exophthalmos. Pulsating exophthalmos. This is due to the head injury, severe head injury. There is a arteriovenous communication or fistula. The artery, it is the internal carotid artery, and the vein, it is the cavernous sinus itself. There is an abnormal communication between these internal carotid artery and the cavernous sinus, leads to the pulsating exophthalmos. Why it is known as the pulsating? Because there is a feel of the pulsation at the orbit or the eyeball with each of the heartbeat. A patient can feel the heartbeat around the margin of the orbit or the eyeball. That is why it is known as the pulsating exophthalmos. Other features are same. Other features like the proptosis present, there is ophthalmoplasia, and there is a severe pain in the eyeball and around the orbit margin. Along with it is the pulsating, that is known as the pulsating exophthalmos.